Thanks for two excellent talks right before me. It totally opened my eyes, and you probably could see the contrast from VA and the way he opened our eyes to that 40% really shocking, uh, low-hanging opportunities. And then a great example with Jamal and what they're doing. We had a call with him before, and this talk was born out of that discussions that how do we implement the system with all these great ideas, AI app, cloud, without flooding the poor primary care. And so his brainstorming and this discussion, I think, is shaping our policy. What I'm going to share with you, the journey that I went through uh, with the support of my mentor, Dr. Valentin Fuster, who is an icon in cardiology and a diehard fan of primary prevention, and support of my colleague, Dr. Marin, and others who lend their support behind this SHAPE organization, Society for Heart Attack Prevention and Eradication. This is January 7, 2019. It was about 2-3 weeks after when the AHA-ACC guideline during American Heart Association, the end of November that year, 2018, finally bought into our vision, which we set out 2005. What was that vision? Is that in the intermediate risk category population, atherosclerosis imaging, particularly coronary calcium score, should be considered, and it can reclassify risk. So once that became, up till then, it was not in the guidelines. We could not go to Medicare, ask for national reimbursement. We prepared this letter and we submitted through their national coverage determination channel in January 2019. Over the following 5 years, which are now, we're entering that, we went through so many steps. So I'm just going to virtually walk you through. This was their response about, this is the kind of response you get a month and 5 days later from Medicare. That thank you for your request. For doing this, you'll have to send us these items. I got help from Dr. Marin and other colleagues. We put together that a call for national coverage determination. This was a white paper that we submitted along with our request, and then later we published it. And following that, they gave us our first hearing, April 30th, 2019. We got on the call and we presented our case to them. We felt like we were talking to a wall, and there was really no appetite to ask important questions. It was like, in their mind, it was already, the decision was made. What was the decision? Well, because you don't have U.S. Preventive Task Force Services recommendation, you don't have any standing. Obviously, we didn't stop there, so I invited Dr. Fuster in his weight. He wrote a supporting letter. Then we submitted additional documentation. This is November 9, 2020. So it's a year and a half later. In the process, Dr. Fuster lent his support, actually got on a train with me, went to Medicare headquarters, and we met the director in person. Fast forward 2020, we pressed them several times via emails. We had to get a written response that would say why we're not doing this. So as you can see, they're saying the U.S. Preventive Task Force Services consistently characterize CAC testing as a screening, and because it's a screening, we don't have the mandate, and so they just shut us down by that word, screening. With working with Dr. Marin and other folks, including Dr. Fuster, we made a case that no, we're not asking for a screening. Screening is done by cholesterol, blood pressure, other risk factors. We are asking for diagnostic indication. What does that mean? Meaning you get the screen, you're either by US a pool cohort equation, PCE, low, intermediate, and high. if you're high over 20%, you're at risk, you should get considered a statin. If you're low risk, we don't need to talk to you about that now, even though we do need, because we have seen a lot of low risk having events. But we're focusing on the intermediate risk. So we hired a law firm. We made a legal case that you're misclassifying or characterizing our request. We need you to look into it as a diagnostic test, just like other tests. Mammography is a screening, but also as a diagnostic test, ultrasound, and so on. So we made a case to them, and then they came back and they said, so we understand it. We can't read all of that here. This was from Joseph Chin, that we understand that you're asking for a diagnostic test, but we could not find outcome studies to show that the diagnostic test of CAC will improve outcomes. And so we, it's just back to square one. And we told them, look, we don't have outcome studies for echocardiography to do echo on somebody who has, suspicious for mitral stenosis. We don't have outcome study for using Framingham risk score for doing that. So why are you, holding us against a new standard of care for a diagnostic test? We pushed back. As you can see here, this letter is November 1st, 2023. And then 3 months later, we found out he retired and nobody cared to respond. So we sent another letter, and finally we got a hearing April 2024, so this past April. And basically they told us, well, we understand that you have a new breakthrough designation. So as you can see, it says we can meet and we're going to hear about your AI. So we got on and we presented to them that, we're adding additional value to a calcium score. We, at that time, got breakthrough for this chamber volume reporting in those same CAC scans. And we found ways to improve the accuracy of a CAC scan for Augustin 0 and 1 to 100. We're working on it. So bottom line, we were able to get us back. These are some of the slides that we presented show that the CAC score with AI, the CAC scan with AI, detecting people who had heart failure similarly to MRIs. You can see the delta is very little and not significant. So we effectively delivered an MRI value with a regular CAC scan. You should consider us. So long story short, I'm going to quickly go through. That was for heart failure. This is for stroke and AF prediction. And we showed that some of those CAC 0 people who ended up having heart failure, they have a large chambers that we can detect them. So we can add to the predictive value of and here it shows in the AI enhanced CAC group, we improve area under the curve for AFib, for heart failure, even for CHD in the CAC 1 to 100. And that's the bottom line. We got, this was the FDA breakthrough letter. We got a sort of invitation to resubmit about 5 days ago. So we, with Dr. Marin, Dr. Fuster, and I, the three of us, on behalf of the entire group, resubmitted, and we're told that we'll be getting a hearing in the next few months. Let's hope it will be in the next few months. Thank you very much.